back here at home, there are some celebrations with an entirely different tone and tenor this morning. People in Baltimore cheering the decision to charge 6 officers in the case of Freddie Gray, who died, as we all know, after being in police custody. And at the center of the story this morning, that 35-year-old prosecutor, Marilyn Mosby, only 4 months into the job, who stepped to the mic on Friday to announce those felony charges. So let's go now to ABC's Jim Avila, who's been covering this story from the jump. Jim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dan. Those 6 officers were processed at the city jail overnight, their mugshots taken, but now they're free on bail. Freddie Gray was arrested after making eye contact with Baltimore police 3 weeks ago. But now it's these 6 cops charged with actual crimes. Gray vindicated by Marilyn Mosby, the state's attorney, who says he didn't break the law, and the police who arrested him committed manslaughter, even murder.
That boy leg look broke. The manner of death, deemed a homicide, is believed to be the result of a fatal injury that occurred while Mr. Gray was unrestrained by a seatbelt in the custody of the Baltimore Police Department wagon.
A shocking and quick conclusion by Baltimore's lead prosecutor, who told me it was a decision based on facts and not community pressure.
My job as a prosecutor is to follow and uphold the law, and that means equally applying justice to those with or without a badge.
But the police union was quick to call her biased and ask for a special prosecutor.
We believe that the actions taken today by the state's attorney are an egregious rush to judgment.
Mosby refusing calls to recuse herself and denying any anti-police bias.
I come from 5 generations of law enforcement.
The protests overnight took on a more celebratory tone and were peaceful. Freddie Gray's family saying they were satisfied with the decision and urging calm.
Let us have peace in the pursuit of justice.
The state's attorney telling me she hopes her actions will help bridge the gap between police and community nationwide.
So many people feel as if they've been voiceless for so long. Let's start to restore that trust in the criminal justice process.
The attorney for those police officers say they are not guilty. They'll appear in court next May 27th. As for the curfew, it continues at least through the weekend. Dan?
Jim Avila, thank you. For more on this, let's bring in our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Dan, good morning. So what are the odds that these charges will stick and that this rookie prosecutor will be able to bring home some convictions?
Look, I think that some of the lesser convictions will likely stick in certain cases. But I think that some of the more serious charges, most of the more serious charges, it's going to be really tough to get convictions on a lot of these charges. I think it is fair to say that this prosecutor, as a legal matter, has overreached. Think about it. 2 officers here are charged with manslaughter who come on the scene later and don't do enough, according to prosecutors. That may be wrong, but getting a jury to convict them of manslaughter for simply not helping enough is going to be very, very tough. So I think that once this case moves along, you're going to see either the charges reduced or, in the end, a jury simply not convicting on the more serious charges.
So, you heard in Jim's piece that the police union, they're accusing the prosecutor of a rush to judgment here. They're saying that she ought to recuse herself because she's got conflicts of interest. How powerful a pushback is that likely to be in a legal sense?
Yeah, I don't think that the conflicts of interest is going to be a serious claim here, but the rush to judgment is going to be the heart of the defense. I mean, that's what the defense is going to be here, which is that not enough time was taken to allow the prosecutor to fairly and objectively evaluate the evidence. The defense is going to be, look, the reason that they got charged was because of the riots. The reason that they got charged was political. And that's going to be part of the defense here. But remember, you're going to be evaluating each of these officers separately. The allegations against each of them are totally different. So you're not going to be able to lump all of them in together and say, did they collectively do something? Each one of these officers is going to have a separate defense where they're going to say, wait a second, why am I being charged with X crime, in many of these cases manslaughter, and then going through moment by moment what that officer did or didn't do? And I think that there are going to be some very powerful defenses here.
It sounds like this young prosecutor has a tough road in front of her. Dan Abrams, we really appreciate it. Thanks for your analysis this morning.